How's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Homie G, and I'm back. Happy holidays to all of you, first of all. So, today I got a very important financial lesson for all the little homies. It is a critical lesson that you must learn. That means get stuck in your head so that you know it like the back of your hand. Because if you don't, you're going to suffer the consequences for the rest of your life. And that lesson is simply, what is the difference between an asset and a liability? Okay, so I'm pretty sure you've heard the word asset. You might have heard it on TV or something. Someone saying, oh, he or she is such an asset at work because maybe they help out a lot. Maybe they're a team player. Maybe they're an important member of the company, whatever. And so you probably heard the word asset used in that way, but in our definition, financial definition, an asset is simply, very simply, something that puts money in your pocket periodically and consistently, okay, with little to no work. Okay, what are some forms of assets? So as you can see here, we have rental property, which is my favorite type of asset. We also have dividend paying stocks, and some of you may have parents who are collecting who are collecting income from their dividend paying stocks. You might want to ask them about that. And royalties from book sales or from online courses that you set up. In other words, you create the course or you write the book, you put it up online, put a button on there for purchasing purposes, and that money gets funneled into your account whenever somebody buys, right? That course or your book on Amazon or on your personal website, whatever. But anything basically that is putting money in your pocket every month or every week or whenever is considered an asset. Now, the opposite would be a liability. What is a liability? Simply put, it's the opposite of an asset. If it's taking money from your pocket every month or every week or whenever, it is a liability. That is the easiest definition. But most people have a hard time understanding that concept because they are confused about what an asset and a liability truly is. For example, most people, maybe even your parents, will consider their home, their primary residence where they live, to be an asset. They might say to you, son, daughter, your home, your future home is going to be your greatest asset. And that's wrong. That's very wrong. Because if we go back to the definition of a liability, it's simply something that's taking away money from you every month, every week, whenever. Now, your house. Okay, so for example, I'm in this house. I don't own the house yet because I haven't fully paid off the mortgage. So I have to pay off the mortgage. Every month, it is taking money from my pocket. It's not putting money in my pocket. It is taking money from me. In addition to that, I'm paying for this light, electricity, water, so my family can take showers, drink water, whatever, water the lawn. What else? Heating cost, because it's cold, it's winter. So it's taking money every single month. In fact, your house, if you ever buy one, will be your biggest liability that you own. Even bankers, people that you will work with in the future, banks will consider it a liability because it's taking money away from you. And your parents may say, well, what about when I'm fully paid off the mortgage? Sure, you may have fully paid off the mortgage, but did you know that you will never truly own your home? You know why that is? Property taxes. You see, the city you live in wants a cut every so often, every 6 months. They're going to send you a nice bill for your property taxes. So whether it's the city or the county, you will have to pay taxes on that property because you live in the city or you live in a county, and they're going to have their dues. So you're going to pay. If you don't pay, they're going to put a lien on your house and take it from you. Doesn't that sound great? So you see, your home is never truly an asset because you never own it. You'll always have maintenance. You'll always have to take care of stuff at your house, and that's always going to be taking money away from you every month, whether you've paid off the mortgage or not. Okay, now cars. A lot of people think, oh, my car's an asset. Sure, I use it to get to work. It's got some value. I can sell it. But let's again go back to that definition. If a car was an asset, it would be paying you monthly, putting money in your pocket. And the only way I know a car can do that is if you're using it for a business like Uber or Lyft, and that money is making you money. Sorry, that car is making you money, and you're writing off all of the mileage. You're writing off the any kind of work you do on the car, depreciation of the car, because now it's part of your business. So maybe then it might be considered an asset. But right now, if you're going to buy a car when you're 16, 17, 18, your parents are going to get you your first ride, right? You're going to be cool going to school. But guess what? You're going to have to pay for car insurance. You're going to have to pay for gas. Anything that happens to the car, oil, you might need oil changes, right? You will need oil changes. What am I saying? So, punctured tire, you're going to have to pay for it. Leaky oil, whatever, you're going to have to pay for it. If it's a hoopty, if it's a nice ride, whatever, you're going to have to pay every month for that vehicle in some way, shape, or form. It's not paying you back money every month. So it's not an asset. And then, of course, you're going to have future college loans, especially if you decide to go straight out of high school into a 4-year college and start working on your bachelor's degree. Then you might want to go to grad school because the major you pick, you need to have a master's. Now you're going to have more college loan. And then credit cards, right? You're going to be paying for stuff in your credit card, and you're going to have to pay every month for that unless you pay it off right away. So people will get into a serious situation where all they're ever going to own in life are on this column, liabilities. That's the average American these days. They have zero assets, okay? And that's why they're in the poorhouse, my little homies. That's why they're struggling, because they have mostly liabilities. Their house, their pets, their car. All of this is full. Meanwhile, this is nothing. They don't own any assets. And again, let's go back. What are some assets you could own? It's right here on this list. And these are just some of them. There's more. But of course, my favorite is this one, rental property. So let's break it down. I have for you one of my rental properties, and I'm going to break it down for you as to why it is an asset. So check it. So first of all, this property is out of state. I can't afford to buy rentals here in California. Properties are just too expensive in my neck of the woods, San Diego County. And even if I went east, it'll still be more expensive than if I bought it the right way. You got to buy it the right way. Out of state. So this one's in Cordova, Tennessee. I rent. Rents are great in that area, $12.50 a month. My expenses, well, I have to pay, since I financed the property with the bank, $687. That's mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance, all put together. That's a nice payment. And then homeowners association dues are small every month. And so in the end, every month, this property is putting in my account electronically, without me doing anything, $537. Now, sometimes there will be some management issues, like something will break and you might want to take $50 off or $60 off or $80 off. Something will happen, not every month, which is great, but maybe once every 3 months there'll be an issue where a repairman will have to go in and fix something. But again, look at all this wiggle room that I have. You see that, my little homies? That's a lot of wiggle room. That's still paying me, whether something came up or not, easily $500 a month. Okay, now I have 2 other properties that are not as much as cash flowing, but they're still pretty up there, 400, 300 range every month. So 3 assets in my column are rental properties. As you know, I have 2 books, pay me royalties every month. Not a lot, but hey, it's in the plus column, right? It's an asset. Now, what's going to happen in your life? Most likely, you're going to be brainwashed, and that's okay, because this is the path I took myself. Now, granted, I made some side deviations here from the traditional pathway. I did not go to a 4-year college straight out of high school. I went to a junior college, and it was all paid for. In fact, financial aid paid for everything. I didn't know a single thing after 2 years, half of my college career. So I only had to pay for 2 years plus my master's degree at UC Santa Barbara. And so, yeah, I had some college loans. Thankfully, I became a teacher, proudly, I should say. And there was a lot of payment through the fact that I worked at low income schools in the poor neighborhoods, and they paid off some of my loans. So I had very little to pay for after 4 or 5 years of doing that. But anyways, the traditional path is people are telling you, go to college, go to college. Well, guess what? Cha-ching, money, money, money taken from you. Money you don't even have. Some of you may have been lucky and your parents will end up paying for college. Great. I mean, you can cross this off. But most likely you're going to go to grad school. And your parents might not have enough money for that because you're going to want to get an accelerated degree, something like a master's or a PhD. And that you're going to have to put up in your account as part of loans to pay off in the future. And then what are you going to want? You're going to want a car. If you don't already have one, you're going to want one. You're going to pay it off with your new job. And then you're going to have to get a place of your own, and you're going to have rent. And so all this is going to be taking money. None of these are assets yet. Not a single one of these. And then you're going to buy a home because it's what everybody wants you to do. Oh, you don't own a home? You don't have your own house? Oh, well, you shouldn't be paying rent. It's taking money away from you every month. True enough. But there are some perks to renting at first, especially if you're saving money to buy your first asset, right? That's what it's all about. So most of you will buy your first home, get married or whatever, have a family. If it's not going to be kids, you're going to have pets. Okay, pets take away money from you too. And and you should love them. Of course, they love you back unconditionally. But then you're going to be here where most Americans are, including me, because I don't have enough assets yet. You see, I don't have enough of these. I got to get more. As a matter of fact, that property I showed you, this one here, I'm refinancing currently as right now, this week. I started it last week. So I'm gonna refinance this. It's still gonna cash flow, not as much as 500, but it's gonna be in 200 range. And I'm gonna pull out because my house appreciated in value about 33K according to the banker. Now, what am I gonna do with that money? You know what most people do when they refinance their home? They do home improvements. They want to upgrade their kitchen, right? Or they want to upgrade the bathroom, build a bathroom of their own personal residence, not their rental properties. So then it's another one of those things where you're just pumping more money into your liability because sure, your house is going to look nice, but then what's going to happen is you're not going to get a dollar for dollar on that renovation. You're going to spend your $33,000, let's say, and it's going to give you back in value of your house, maybe $25,000. So it's not like you're going to get a dollar for dollar. What am I going to do? What's different? I'm going to put this $33,000 that I'm going to get from this refinancing, I'm going to put it in an account, a brokerage account, where I'm going to be investing in stocks and dividend paying stocks and making it grow. It's not going to be overnight, but I'm going to use 2019 to grow that amount. And then I'm going to throw it on a new rental property that I'm going to buy. Okay? Maybe finance because I have good credit. I'm going to have higher income. So the bank's going to like me because I have all this income coming in. And see, if you get into the rat race and you start to buy all these liabilities, it'll be very, very hard for you to ever invest in a rental property because banks are going to look at your balance sheet. They're going to look at what do you own. And if you own nothing but liabilities, my little homies, you're going to be stuck. Okay. So what can you do now? So if it were me and I was coming up right now in these time periods, these very hectic and economically harsh time periods, first I'd go back to junior college. I would not skip on that. Go to junior college. Get a job, a part-time job while you're doing that, and start saving money. Now then, get your certificate or skills trade degree or whatever, and then go to work, okay? Some of you will say, well, why not transfer? Okay, you could transfer, and hopefully you'll have some financial aid or money to not have to pay for those 2 years of four-year college so that you're not in huge debt. But you could also work, and then once you've saved enough money to go back to college, go back to college. Okay, finish that degree. You could do it that way. You could ask your parents if they're saving for you to go to college. Say, Mom, Dad, I don't want you to save for me for college. I want you to buy my first asset. I want you to buy my first rental property. I want a rental property on my name. That's what I want. I can handle college. I'll go to junior college and then I'll transfer and, I'll get a loan. You don't have to pay for my college 4 years, 4-year degree. Buy me that first asset. Because once you start the ball rolling, my little homies, once you get that first asset, you're going to be pumped. You're going to want your second asset and your third asset. And you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure out how to do it. Okay, because that's how money works. And that's how the rich get richer. They don't buy liabilities. They buy a bunch of assets from when they're young. And then they start accumulating more and more assets over their lifespan. Okay, so by the time they're ready to retire, they have all of these assets, comfortably paying off all of their liabilities. Anything that they have to spend in retirement is paid for by their assets. They don't have to worry about having a job anymore at 60, whatever. Some people end up working till they're dead because they never accumulated assets. Okay, so this is the most critical financial lesson you will ever be given. They will not teach you this in school. They will not teach you to go and get assets under your name, which is what you're going to want to do. Okay, as soon as possible. If your parents can help you with that, do it. Okay, forget the expensive college. If they want to buy you a rental property out of state, take it. Because it's going to put money in your pocket every month, which you can later use to get your second asset under your belt. All right, my little homies. I know this has been a long post, and I hope you've been listening to this and remembering that it's here always for you to come back to. Even if you don't get it right now, come back to this video by the time you're 16, 17, 18, and remember what it's all about. It's not about buying all these liabilities in life. It's about buying assets, because even later, when you're old and dying, you can will those to your kids, and that's called legacy. That's leaving something behind, so your kids have something behind, and hopefully you've taught them well so they don't end up squandering your wealth like we know some kids of rich people do. All right, I'm out.